Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rulla Alani. I truly believe that emotional intelligence is lacking in today's society, and this explains why a lot of relationships are not working out and there's a lot of miscommunication and misunderstanding. So in today's video, we will be defining emotional intelligence, discussing how emotional intelligence impacts our life, and then I will be giving you guys some practical skills so you guys can improve your emotional intelligence. According to the dictionary, emotional intelligence is the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. Emotional intelligence is all about how we handle and manage our emotions, and also how we allow other people to interact with us. When I think of emotional intelligence, I basically think of it as an IQ for how you interact and engage with people and with yourself. Emotional intelligence is about how well you are able to manage your emotions, to show your emotions, to interact with people, to communicate effectively, to listen, to manage stress. So all of these different things lie under the umbrella of emotional intelligence. And as you can see from this definition, emotional intelligence is going to impact every area of our life, from our relationships to our work to our friendships and so on and so forth. So it is super key that we learn how to become emotionally intelligent so that we are really able to dominate in all of these areas of our lives. Having emotional intelligence allows us to have uncomfortable conversations, resolve conflicts, manage our emotions, speak up about what bothers us, receive feedback, and to establish boundaries. So having emotional intelligence is central to getting what you want out of life. Because if you are someone who is passive and you don't speak what's on your mind, you don't really feel comfortable having those uncomfortable conversations, then time and time again, you are going to be in situations where you don't speak up, where people take advantage of you, where people walk all over you, where people don't know what your standards and boundaries are, so they are going to treat you in any way that they see fit. And so emotional intelligence not only teaches other people how to treat us, but it also sets a precedent for what we are willing to tolerate and how we show up in the world. Emotional intelligence can help people respect you. It can help people know how to communicate with you, especially during times when perhaps you're stressed out, or maybe you're angry, maybe you're upset. Emotional intelligence is your way of teaching other people how to engage with you and vice versa. If you are emotionally intelligent, it is going to be so much easier for you to navigate conflicts, whether it is in the workplace or whether it's at home or whether it's out with friends. You are going to be someone who is good at mediating conflict, who is good at resolving conflict, and you are going to be someone who doesn't just sit by and let things happen to them. A lot of people out there let emotions dictate their life. If they are feeling sad, then it ruins their entire day and everyone who they come into contact with. But people who are emotionally intelligent, they are in control. They manage their emotions. They handle their emotions. So their emotions do not run their lives. They are able to be in the front seat handling their own life. Being emotionally intelligent allows us to take our ownership and power back. When we are emotionally intelligent, we become so much more capable of having those uncomfortable conversations that generally we steer away from. And it allows you to have such a deeper connection to people because you're willing to talk about the things that other people shy away from. Emotional intelligence will make you a better daughter, brother, son, father, mother, partner, leader, The list just goes on. Having emotional intelligence will positively impact each and every area of your life. So now that we have talked about what emotional intelligence is and how it can positively impact all areas of our life, now I want to share some tips with you as to how you can improve your emotional intelligence. So the first one is literally self-reflection. Okay, and this is observing yourself as if you were a third person. So you really want to do an inventory of your life. How are your friendships? How are your relationships? Why have previous relationships in the past ended? How do you manage conflict? Are you more passive aggressive or are you more aggressive and violent? You really want to analyze yourself and start looking at different patterns or habits that you have. The nice thing about self-reflection is that you are the one evaluating yourself. It's not some other person who is judging you. It's not about some other person putting their perceived notions on you. You are able to judge and evaluate yourself. And I truly think that there is no successful person on earth who does not take self-accountability and self-responsibility for where their life is. In order to truly succeed, you must put the power in your hands, not with your emotions, not with your partner, not with your friends. You need to take control of your life, and the best way to do that is to do some self-reflection. What are some recurring themes that keep showing up in your life? Are you someone who avoids uncomfortable conversations? Are you someone who doesn't set boundaries so people take advantage of you? Are you someone who is extremely controlling and you don't really let conversations or situations flow? You always want to be the one who is micromanaging. You need to do a self-assessment and figure out how can you improve, because we can all improve. I will share a personal story with you guys as to how I became more emotionally intelligent. And it was while I was single. I did an entire self-reflection of myself, of how I showed up in friendships, how I showed up in past relationships. And I came to the conclusion that I was extremely passive aggressive. And what I mean by that is I was not someone who was comfortable using my voice, using my throat chakra. I felt so shy and naive that I would not speak up, whether it was with a friend or whether it was with an ex-boyfriend at the time. I always felt disappointed because people never met my needs in the way that I needed, because they didn't know what my boundaries were, they didn't know what my standards were, and any time that I felt uncomfortable or bothered, I was too passive to say anything. So I wasn't able to speak up and voice my opinion. I wasn't able to let people know how I was feeling. And you guys, we need to remember that we don't live in a world of mind readers. You need to let people know how you're feeling, what triggers you, what is a hard limit. If you don't express these things to people, well then they will continue doing whatever they do, and you are always going to feel like you're not heard, that nobody listens. Well, in order for people to listen, you need to start speaking. You need to start saying those things that are burning on your mind, on your chest, that you really just need to get out there. You don't have the confidence to speak up. So that was one of the things I realized personally for me, was I was very passive aggressive and I did not speak up. And so that is something that I have worked on, and I've done multiple things to help me with that. One of them is just practicing talking in the mirror in the shower or in the car. If there is a conversation that you want to have and perhaps you're very nervous about having it, you're kind of trying to think about all the topics that are going to come up and you want to feel prepared, well, go ahead and practice. You can literally have that uncomfortable conversation in the mirror, in the shower, while you're in the car, and it's going to help you practice using your voice, practice getting out the points that you really want someone to hear and to listen to. And so that's one of the things that I've done, is just practice having conversations, preparing the things that I want to talk about, making a quick note on my phone. I know when you are first becoming emotionally intelligent and first kind of becoming more comfortable with using your voice, it can be really, really hard to take that first step and say that first thing that's been burning on your chest. And so sometimes it's easier to write it down in a message or write an email or write a letter. Even if you don't send it, it is going to help practice getting those words out there, and then it's finally, like, over time going to come natural for you. I know that with my fiance, when I first met him, I was still working on my emotional intelligence. I got passive aggressive maybe a few times here and there, just when I was like not ready to be vocal about what was bothering me. But we have gotten to the point, you guys, where like I do not let anything brew. If something is said or something is done that I don't like, I am saying something right then and there. I'm not waiting till next week. I'm not waiting till another argument comes up and then I'm just releasing all these things that have been buried. I will say things as I feel them, as they come up, and I really encourage you to do the same. Part of being emotionally intelligent is not ignoring your feelings. Your feelings are valid. When you feel something, that is your sign to make a change, to say something, to do something. You don't want to just ignore your feelings. So remember, people who are emotionally intelligent feel what they're feeling, and they don't let it destroy them. They don't let it control them. They are in control of that emotion, and they let other people know what is going on inside, because nobody's a mind reader, and the best way to handle a certain emotion is to talk about it in a healthy, calm, collected manner. The other thing that I encourage you to do is to accept critique and feedback from trusted sources. Obviously, you don't want to accept feedback from an enemy or someone who doesn't have your best interest at heart. But if maybe your mom, your partner, your friend have all mentioned something to you and you're ignoring it, that is not being emotionally intelligent. Generally, the people around us see us and observe us in a way that we aren't able to, right? We spend all our days living out our life, and it's kind of hard to see us from a neutral perspective. So when people around you have feedback, whether it's, hey, you get really stressed out before you have this meeting with a client, maybe you should meditate before, or maybe you should exercise before, or maybe your friend tells you, hey, you really overreacted in that text message, you should apologize. Start listening to other people. We have this huge problem in society where we love asking people what they think, but when they actually give us constructive feedback and criticism, we feel horrible about it, because obviously nobody likes to be critiqued, nobody likes to be judged. But that is your opportunity to learn, to grow, to improve your skills. So please accept feedback. Take it into consideration and think, hey, let me implement this. Let me see how things change. Is there some merit to what these people are critiquing me on? The other thing is to recognize your emotions and identify them. This is why having a daily journal or some sort of daily practice is very, very important, because you can write down exactly how you're feeling. I'm feeling moody today. And in order to combat this, I am going to go on a walk outdoors. I'm feeling energized today. I am going to focus on my top 3 tasks on my priority list. So really start identifying your emotions and telling yourself, how are you going to work with this emotion? How are you going to let this emotion empower you? Because let's say, even if you're feeling sad, you can do something productive about that. You can say, I'm feeling sad today, so in order to mediate this, I am going to write in my journal how I'm feeling. I am going to listen to some soothing music. I am going to spend some time with my family and friends who bring laughter and light to my life. So start identifying your emotions instead of trying to shy away from them or just hide them and ignore them, and start working with them productively. Because even if it's anger, you can exercise. Even if it's sadness, you can create art. Even if it's being heartbroken, you can seek advice or you can seek love from a friend or a family member. So always know that regardless of what you're feeling, there is a way to productively manage that emotion without letting it destroy you. Another key aspect of being emotionally intelligent, which I talked about earlier, is taking responsibility. And taking responsibility includes saying sorry, apologizing, asking for forgiveness. I have gotten to that state where now I almost immediately apologize if I know I've said something that was hurtful or out of line or ignored someone because I was in the middle of doing something. I believe that there is never harm in saying sorry and asking for forgiveness. And I think actually the person who says sorry and asks for forgiveness is generally the person who is most admired and most respected. So remember, there is nothing wrong in saying sorry. It does not make you a weaker person. It actually makes you a stronger person. Furthermore, create healthy coping mechanisms for stress. I've already discussed exercise. I've already discussed spending time with friends and family. I've already discussed going on a walk. But even like mindfulness, deep breathing, meditation, all of those things are so powerful in combating unhealthy emotions, in kind of just processing events, and just making us so much more easygoing and calm on a day-to-day basis. Even just having a daily gratitude journal can really get you out of this negative mindset, and it can start helping you look at the bright side, start looking at the glass half full, start listening more and speaking less. This is the perfect way to practice empathy, is to stop always being the one who has to speak. Start letting other people come to you and vent to you and talk to you, and start working on your listening skills. My last tip is just to read more books and stories. I have found that reading books, especially fiction books, like just a regular novel, it can really help you see how us humans, we're all battling something. And I think that reading different stories and, different situations and what people face, you will be so much more empathetic and more understanding as to what other people are going through and facing. And it's really just going to help you become more accepting of other people and less judgmental. I remember in college, one of my classes, we were doing this exercise, and it was all about not judging people based on situational things. And the scenario that was brought up was, imagine that you're on a plane and you see a mom and she has like 3 or 4 kids, and imagine that the kids are just being absolutely disruptive. They're running down the aisles, they're screaming, they're crying, and the mom is just minding her own. She's not even, getting the kids to settle down. And generally in that moment, a lot of people are going to be judging that family, like, oh, what a horrible mother, she's not even getting her kids in order, like these kids are so misbehaved, they're not good kids, and so forth and so on. I mean, just imagine all these people on the plane are going to be judging that family. Well, imagine if I told you that they are just now flying back from the father's funeral, and actually her husband has just suddenly died. Wouldn't that give you some empathy and some understanding for that family? So just that simple mind switch can really help you start seeing people from a different light. You never know what someone's going through. You never know what someone is battling. You know, you can't really walk a mile in their shoes. So be less judging. Be more empathetic, be more loving, be more understanding. All of these skills are tied into emotional intelligence, and I really hope that that story can help you guys see that at so many different points of our day, we are judging people, we are stereotyping people, we are thinking the worst of people, and just for once, it's nice to have a mind shift and start thinking the best of people, start expecting the best from people, start giving them the benefit of the doubt, and you will see how many things change for you and how different you start viewing things. It really gives you a newfound perspective. So that is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for being here. Once again, if you guys liked today's video, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below, and give me a thumbs up. And I will see you all very, very soon. Bye!